Practice exercise 7-2. We're going to work on these stadium seats. That's at least what I think they look like. Here's our practice drawing file. We're going to download that. Right, so we have some chairs that we're going to array. Take a look at the textbook. Using the rectangular array the chair at the left near the user coordinate system icon. Use the following spacing information: 3 rows, 10 columns. Row is 27.5, and I'll take it as I'll have to check the units. Column spacing is 20. Increment elevation equals 6. All right, so that's going to space our chairs apart in X and Y, columns and rows, and Z with our elevation. So let's go ahead and grab that. A rectangular array, and it's the one on the left by the UCS. So I guess that would be it. Yeah, because it's our user coordinate system right over here. Just grab that chair, hit enter, and then we should get a ribbon across the top here in which we can set it for the number of rows to be 3, which it is. Number of columns to be 10. Row spacing 27.5. Column spacing 20. Increment elevation equals 6. I'm not sure where that is. So it's got to have an increment to go up each time 6. That must be my stair height. So as we're working on this array pattern, what we're going to do is expand down the rows here. And here's where we find the increment amount. And I'm going to set that at 6. That was kind of tricky to find. I had to go through the reading in the textbook and where it was going through talking about using the array command and being able to move things in, making a 2D array command work like the 3D array command. And so the way they're doing that is by expanding into rows and then adding an increment or a Z height level. So that's step number 3. Let's go to step 4, freeze current layer, and then we'll use path array chair at the beginning of the curved stage using the following information for the curved path in the arc. Number of items will be 16. It'll divide them equally along the path, and then it'll go up each row with the same technique that we used in the 2D array command, where we are spacing the rows and the columns in the increment. So it's just the rows. All right. Increase the current layer. So we're going to come over here. What I usually like to do, rather than navigate around in the 3D all the time, I'll oftentimes put on toolbars for the properties and things like that. So it doesn't tell me to change to a different layer. And the curved layer is on. So I'm not sure if this is just something that so we're going to use this array path command. And then we have one chair sitting here. We're going to grab it. We'll hit enter. And then we're going to see if we can define the area within the path. And so it's asking us here in the array path, select the path curve. And so I'm going to come back in here and select. Let's see if it'll let me select. I'm going to try to get an edge that it was filtered out. And so we may have to go to a 2D wireframe just to see it and try it. Not as easy on the eyes, but it's still 3D array, path array. Select our objects, hit enter, and then let's see if we can get one of these lines. That one. Sure. To extract the edges to make it work. Or if there's a layer that's not on, let's just double check. 2 layers. Let's extract an edge out of it. See what that does. What I like to do is I like to show the menu bar. And I do have it on. I like to put toolbars on. And I like to put properties. And I like to put layers on. It's just faster to find them. And so if I'm going to extract the edges for this, let's change the color so that we'll see the extracted edge. And then we'll come over here and extract the edges off of this. Hopefully it's solid. Let's try our path array. Select our object, hit enter, find it along one of these curves. There we go. And then as we go through, it's the same technique that we used last time. And so we're just going to fill in the values for the path. Number of items will be 16. So we want 17 for right now. Let's see if I can change it. Three rows, 27.5. Column spacing is 20. Alrighty. And then we can just green check mark this. And we can change our visual style back to conceptual. Like we've got one more array to complete. So we'll see about that part. Just gonna go with a regular array. We might be able to mirror 3D and just do that in one step. That might be kind of cool. Let's try that at this late hour. And so, and if it was me, I would have changed the color of the chairs. You know, it just doesn't have any appeal to me. The quickest way is to just make a layer and then make a chair layer and give it a different color other than this. And then we can just put those items onto that layer. Generally, it's not set up by layer. I'll have to come back to that. All right, so I won't color the chairs at this time, but I should be able to just plain old mirror these in the XY plane. And so if I just go to mirror, the only difference between mirror and 3D mirror is that you need 3 points in a 3D mirror and only 2 in a 2D mirror. So if I go through and carefully select these chairs, and I could use different selection windowing techniques, but it takes time to be accurate with these CAD systems. I'll just select them one by one. A certain point. So I've selected the objects and I'm just using regular 2D mirror. I'll just hit enter to tell I'm done selecting. And then I'm going to gravitate to one of these points here. There we go. Click on that. And then as I drive this, I'm going to use ortho. Just drive it straight out and you can see the chairs are falling right in there. If I move this, they won't, but there we are. Source objects, no. That's it. Shift middle mouse wheel. There's our stadium. Right click on one of the layout tabs from template. Size mechanical title block. Okay. Paper space. Double click in the viewport. View. Zoom. All. 3D view. Southeast isometric. Let's go north. View. 3D view. Shift middle mouse wheel. Just turn it yourself. Oh, I do have that red layer there. I'm going to leave it. I could put it onto a different layer, but at this late, I'll turn on the visual style, conceptual, double click outside the viewport, fill out the title block. This is lab practice 7-2. And we'll save this file and put it into the assignments folder. That completes the recording for practice 7-2.